Right. One is the previous class, I gave you few problems which are based on differentiation. And yesterday I shared an assignment which is based on the equations of students. Are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there is a power cut here. I'm using my hotspot to explain. So just let me know if there is any glitch. Okay. So there are, I'm saying, there were two homeworks, right? So one homework was based on the problem, one homework was based on differentiation and the other was based on the equations of motion, right? So did you guys complete it?
Yes, sir.
So you're able to see my screen now, right? So did you people complete this homework problem which was based on differentiation, which we discussed in the last class? The function is y is equal to x square plus 3x. So what is going to be the derivative of it at x is equal to 3? So what is the answer?
9.
So dy by dx is equal to derivative of x square is see there's very
2x.
important. Yeah, 2x plus derivative of 3x is
3.
3. So what are we supposed to do? Dy by dx at x is equal to 3. So you should substitute it here. You will get the answer as
9.
9. That's right. So what is the answer for the next one? S is equal to t cube plus 3t square plus 2t plus 1.
11.
So ds by dt is equal to 3t square plus 6t plus 2. So ds by dt at t is equal to 1 will be equal to 3 plus 6 plus 2, that is 11. That's right. So s is equal to 4t square plus 3t minus 6. So it will be 8t. So derivative will be 8 3 plus 3. So 8 into, in the place of t we need to substitute 2.
2.
So what will you get?
90.
19.
So derivative of t square sin t. What rule are we supposed to apply?
Product rule.
Product rule. So what does it tell? So s is equal to t square into sin t. So what is ds by dt equal to? So I told you, first function, first into second derivative of second plus so second into derivative of one. So t
First.
square. So t square into derivative of sin t is
Cos t.
Cos t.
cos t plus sin t into derivative of t square is
2t.
right. So this will be t square cos t plus 2t sin t. So what is the value of t that you need to substitute? ds by dt at t is equal to pi by 4 will be pi by 4 square into cos pi by 4 plus 2 into pi by 4 into sin pi by 4. So that is pi square by 16 into what is the value of cos pi by 4?
40.
Sorry,
1 by
45, sir.
root 2.
1 by root 2 plus this and this will get cancelled. Pi by 2 into sin pi by 4 is also 1 by root 2. So the answer will be pi square plus pi. So pi square divided by 16 root 2. Pi square divided by 16 root 2 into pi divided by 2 root 2. So this is going to be the final answer, right? So similarly, for the fifth one, s is equal to t square by cos t. At t is equal to pi by 3. So what will be the answer? First, what rule are we supposed to apply?
Division.
The quotient rule. So what does the quotient rule tell you? ds by dt is equal to, recollect it first.
Derivative of first.
So that is denominator into derivative of
Of numerator.
that is 2t minus your own process.
Derivative of denominator into numerator.
So t square into derivative of cos t is
Minus sin t.
minus sin t the whole divided by cos t, right? So this will be 2t cos t plus t square sin t the whole divided by cos t. So ds
So wouldn't
divided
it be square in denominator?
yes
Cos
square.
by
Yeah, cos square. So t is equal to pi by 3. So 2 into pi by 3 into cos pi by 3 plus pi by 3 the whole square into sin pi by 3 the whole divided by cos square pi by 3, right? So 2 pi by 3 into what is cos pi by 3? Cos pi by 3 is 60 degrees. Cos 60 is half plus pi square divided by 9 into sin 60 degrees root 3 by 2 divided by cos square pi by 3 is 1 by 4. So 2 and 2 will get cancelled. Okay. So pi by 3 plus root 3 pi square divided by 18 the whole divided by 1 by 4. So the 4 will go to the numerator and it will get multiplied. So if you simplify this will be 2 by 9. So 4 pi by 3 plus 2 root 3 pi square divided by 9. So this would be the final answer. How many of you got this? Did you people try?
Sir, in school they started differentiation and integration by relating to calculus also, sir.
That's what I'm going to teach. But differentiation, did you guys practice?
yes, sir.
Then why no one is answering for these questions? How many of you got this answer?
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Tell me.
Sir, the third question, you gave that, no, you gave all the equation in the form with the variable t, sir, but at
Yeah.
last you've given x is equal to 2
That's
seconds.
wrong. That's t is 2 seconds. That was
Okay,
wrong.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So this one is clear. Okay. So any doubt from yesterday's worksheet? I asked you to do the first 15 problems.
Doubts.
Yes,
Which
sir.
one? No doubt, or you have a doubt?
I have a doubt, sir. 11th question.
11th,
So
11th one.
Yes, sir. I didn't understand. How
Okay.
Sir, I have a doubt in 9th one, second part, sir.
9th one, second part. Okay. 9th one, second
Ninth
part.
one, sir.
12th question and 13th question also, sir.
Okay. Tell me all the consolidated doubts. So 9th one, second part, 11th one, 12th, 13th. Anything else? Anything else?
Sir, if you can also, can you do 15, sir?
15.
15 also is there. Okay, I'll do that. Yeah. So that's it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's start. So what is the question saying? So the 9th one is a car accelerates from rest at a constant rate alpha. So what do you mean by constant rate alpha for some time? So are they speaking about speed or acceleration? I mean, are they speaking about velocity or acceleration?
Acceleration, sir.
Acceleration is alpha. Till what time?
Sometime only they have given.
Okay, sometime they have not given what is the time. After that, what is happening? It is decelerating at a constant rate beta and comes to rest. One thing is clear is here constant rate. Constant rate means uniform acceleration. So uniform acceleration means I can apply equations of motion. Till that it is clear, right? So if the total time elapsed is t, means the total time taken for it to accelerate as well as decelerate is time t, then the maximum velocity attained by the car. So when will the maximum velocity of the car be existing? So shall we try this? So the 9th one is, did you people understand what they're trying to say? There is a journey, let's say between the points A and B. Okay. In this journey, for certain distance, the person is accelerating with a value alpha, and for certain time, obviously for certain distance also, he's decelerating with a value beta, and the time is t2. The only information that we have in our hand is t1 plus t2 is equal to t. Right? Now the question is, what is the other point they have given? A car accelerate from rest. So the initial velocity that we have in our hand is 0. So let's say the velocity here is v. After this, what is happening? So from A to point C, is the velocity increasing or decreasing?
Increasing.
Increasing. From C to B, is the velocity increasing or decreasing?
Decreasing.
Decreasing, right? So where will the maximum velocity be attained?
At point C.
At point C. So our work is to calculate what is the value of v. So v is equal to u plus at. So v is nothing but v max. I will call this as v max is equal to u is 0 plus alpha into t1. So what is the problem you have here? You don't know what is the value of t1. So let this be equation number 1. Okay. Here the velocity is v max, and what will be the velocity at point B? So for that we need to understand the question again. Decelerates at a constant rate b to come to rest means it is stopping again. Here the velocity is 0.
0.
So for journey C to B, can I apply v is equal to u plus at again? Here what will be the value of v?
0.
0.
Very good. Is equal to u is
V max.
v max
Max.
plus a is
minus beta.
This minus is coming because it is retarding. Into time is T2.
T2.
So T2 will be equal to V max divided by beta. Am I right? So T is equal to
Yes,
D.
sir.
Sir, negative beta.
No negative. How will time be negative, man? I rearrange the equation. V max is equal to beta divided by T2. Beta into T2. No negative.
So then where will the sign go, sir? Negative sign where will it go?
Rearrange it, man. 0 is equal to x minus y. Then x is equal to y only. No, that's what I did. From 1 and 2, T1 plus T2 is equal to T. That's what is given. The total time taken is T. Am I right? So what is T1? V max divided by alpha. Plus what is T2? It is V max divided by beta is equal to T. So V max into 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta is equal to T. So V max into alpha plus beta divided by alpha beta is equal to. So V max will be equal to alpha beta into T divided by alpha beta. I hope this is clear. So I hope this you people could get it, right? Now, what is the second part of the question? What are they asking? The total distance traveled by the car in terms of alpha, beta, and time t is what? Again, break the journey into two parts. Okay. So if you break the journey into two parts, then what will happen? So for A to C, anybody who can tell me how to proceed? Even if it is wrong, it is okay. We are discussing only. You just share your idea so that we can know what mistakes are happening. Can someone try? When you go from A to C, what is the distance covered by the person? So let's say.
Sir, V is equal to dt can we use?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
V is equal to dt.
D is equal to dt. I didn't get it. D is equal. Distance is equal to speed into time.
Yes, sir.
See, this one you can use it only when the object is not accelerating. Okay, so have it in your mind. The standard equation is S is equal to ut plus half at square. Only when the value of a is equal to 0, then the distance displacement will become distance. The velocity will become something like this. Are you able to understand? So you can use this only when the object is not accelerating. But the question they have clearly mentioned what? It is accelerating.
Accelerate.
So if it is accelerating, then this equation will be wrong. So only equation that gives the relation between time and so the relation that gives us the equation that gives us a relation between time, acceleration, and velocity is what? S is equal to ut plus half at square. Right. So let's say again I'm drawing this diagram up, sir. Let's try to analyze this part. So A to C, C to B. This time is, so if I call this distance as S1, this distance is called S2. They're asking what is the total distance covered in time? T. So S1 is covered with an acceleration of alpha, and the time taken is T1. S2 is covered with beta and T2. I hope it is clear, right? So S1 will be equal to, what is the value of U1? What is the velocity here?
Initial 0.
0.
Initial velocity is 0. Here velocity is V max. Again, here the velocity is 0. Okay. So S1 is equal to U1 is 0 into something, half into alpha into, I can write it as T1 square. Am I right?
Yes,
This will
sir.
be alpha by 2 into, what is the value of T1 I got in this question?
V max by alpha.
So V max divided by alpha, let me do this. So I can write it as V max square divided by alpha square. So this and this will get cancelled. It will be V max square divided by alpha. Let this be equation number 1. Similarly, for S2 is equal to U dash into T dash plus half
Sir,
into,
V max square by 2 alpha.
Good, you will take, sir.
you want to take it like that? You want to apply V square minus U square is equal to AC.
No, sir, 2 you didn't take it, sir.
Oh, here
V
you
max square by 2 alpha.
Okay, 2 alpha. So for the journey C to B, what equation can I apply? For the journey C to B, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to apply V square minus U square is equal to 2A as observed clearly, okay? So V square, when I go from C to B, what is the final velocity attained by the particle at B?
0.
0 minus, what is the initial velocity for the journey C to B?
V max.
Max.
So V max square is equal to 2 into, what is the acceleration for the journey C to B?
Minus beta.
Minus beta into, let me call this distance as S2. So minus and minus gets cancelled. So S2 will be equal to V max square divided by 2 beta. Any doubt till this step?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Right. So they're asking you the total journey. Total journey, if I call it as S is equal to S1 plus S2. So S1 plus S2, if I take out, then V max square by 2 will come out common. Then what will I be left out with? I'll be left out with 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta. Is this point clear? You understood what I did? I added V max square by 2 alpha and V max square by 2 beta. So V max square by 2 is common in both into 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta. Okay. So this will be V max square divided by 2, or 1 minute. In the place of V max, what can I substitute? Alpha beta into T divided by alpha plus beta. Can I substitute it? So alpha beta into T divided by alpha plus beta, the whole square, the whole divided by 2 into, if I take LCM, I get alpha plus beta divided by alpha beta. Clear with this? So this will be alpha square beta square T square divided by alpha plus beta the whole square into alpha plus beta divided by alpha beta. So alpha beta and this are gone. So 1 alpha plus beta is gone and there is a 2 left over here. So what is the answer? Alpha beta into T square divided by 2 into alpha plus beta. Did you understand what I did? Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is a very good problem. Please mark it as important and try it again. Done. Copied.
Yes, sir.
See, the 11th one I'll do it at the end because it involves a little bit of mathematics. Okay. I'll do the 12th one. How to do the 12th one? Tell me. So there are two buses A and B which are at positions 50 meter and 100 meter from the origin at t is equal to 0. They start moving in the same direction simultaneously with uniform velocity of 10 meters per second and 5 meters per second. So here, uniform velocity means the object is not accelerating. Okay. Determine the time and position at which A overtakes B. So if you try to observe the question diagrammatically, the 12th one is, there are two buses A and B. They are at which point? So if I take this as
50 meters
origin,
and 100 meters.
so 50, 0, the first object is there. 100, 0, the bus B is there. Okay. One is moving with a speed of 10 meter per second. That's what I remember. And the second is moving with a speed of 5 meter per second. Okay. First of all, tell me, is there a possibility that A will overtake B?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Because of its velocity.
Because it has a greater speed. Had the question been in the reverse, like if the first, this was 5 meter per second and this was 10 meter per second, what will your answer be?
It can't overtake.
It is never. Right? Whereas in this case, it is possible. That is at some point. So before they overtake, there should be one particular point where they meet. Am I right? So let's say they both meet at point C. So from the origin, this distance to C will be the distance at which A will start overtaking B. Is there any doubt on this point? Okay, means you're walking like this, your friend is also walking the same direction. Okay, your friend is walking little slow, but you're walking little fast. When will you be able to overtake your friend? So before you overtake, there should be a point at which you both meet. So let's say where you both meet is point C, and the time at which you meet is T. So this is at T is equal to 0. This is also at T is equal to 0. So what I'm trying to say is, in time T, okay, what will be the distance covered by the bus A? So what will be the distance covered by bus A in time T?
10 into t.
That's it. Here there is no acceleration, so distance is equal to speed into time. So 10 into t. Let this be equation number 1. Okay. In time t, distance covered by B, obviously. What is it?
5t.
Means this distance is 10t, this distance is 5t. Am I right? So from the origin, try to understand, this distance is already 50. From the origin, this distance is how much?
100.
100. So if they are meeting at this point, can I say 50 plus 10t is equal to 100 plus 5t? Because they both are at the same distance from the origin. If I add 50 and 10t, it is same as 100 plus 5t. So 50 plus 10t is equal to 100 plus 5t. So what is the time here? 5t will be equal to 50. So t will be equal to 10 seconds. So after they start, exactly after 10 seconds, this kind of a scenario will arise. So after 10 seconds, what will be the position of A? Position of A with respect to origin. How much?
100.
100, right? So that 100 is with respect to its initial position because you did only 10t. But what is my question? I asked you, what is its position with respect to origin? So 100 is the distance it has traveled in 10 seconds. Even before that, what is the distance? It is 150. That is the answer. 150 meter. In a similar way, what will be the position of B with respect to origin? With respect to WRT means with respect to origin is 100 plus. So initially it is at a distance of 100. And how much distance it has covered in 10 seconds?
50
Right?
meters.
50. So answer is 150. So whether you do with respect to A or B, this exactly happens at a distance of 150 meter from where?
Origin.
Origin. So you need to report it like this. So A overtakes B at a position of 150 meter from the origin after how many seconds?
10 seconds.
That's the answer. That is the answer. can make a note of it. If there is any doubt, let me know. So if you're done with this, I'll go to the next problem.
Sir, 1 minute, sir.
Yeah, copy it. Okay. What is the next problem you guys asked? Next is 13. So an object is moving along the positive x-axis with an acceleration of 4 meters per second square. At t is equal to 0, x is equal to 5, and v is equal to 3 meters per second. What will be the velocity and position of the object at t is equal to 2 seconds? So there's something similar to this case. So this problem number 12 or 13. 13. So an object is moving along positive x-axis. At t is equal to 0, it is at a position. So this is the origin. Always you should start with the origin. So where is the particle? It is at 5, 0. And what is the velocity it has? 3 meters per second. And what is the acceleration with which it is going?
Four meters per second square.
4 meters per second square. Then what are they asking? After 2 seconds, sir. After 2 seconds, what will be the velocity and position of the object at t is equal to 2 seconds? Can you tell me? So after 2 seconds,
11
applying
meters per second.
v is equal to u plus at. So v will be equal to u is how much? 3
3,
plus acceleration is 4 into time taken is 2.
2.
So that will be 11 meters per second. So the velocity will be 11 meters per second. What will be the position of the object? S is equal to ut plus half at square. So S is equal to, what is the value of u?
3 meters per second.
3.
3 into time is 2 seconds plus half into acceleration is 4 into t square. T square is 4. So this and this will get cancelled. So it will be 6 plus 8, that will be 14 meters. Is this the answer?
No, sir, we should add 5 also.
No, sir.
That's right. So when they ask you what is the position of the object, they are asking with respect to whom again? With respect
Origin.
to
The origin.
origin. So with respect to its initial position, it has traveled a distance of 14 meters, but with respect to origin, it is 19 meters. From origin is equal to 19 meters. Done? So what is the next part of the question? What will be the position of the object when it has a velocity of 5 meters per second? So you need to find out what will be the time at which the velocity of the particle will become 5 meters per second. Then you need to find the position of the particle. Did you guys understand that part? So what they are saying is again the same story. So with respect to origin, the particle is at 5, 0. It has a velocity of 3 meters per second. So it is accelerating, means its velocity will increase. So let's say there is one particular instant at which its velocity is 5 meters per second. Okay. At this instant, what would be the distance from the origin? That is what they're asking. So how much should I add to already existing 5 for me to get the answer? So how to do this? Apply V is equal to U plus AT between the points A and B. So what is the value of V between A and B?
5 meter per second.
5 is equal to
3 plus 3 plus
acceleration is how much?
4.
4 meter per second square. So 4 into the time is t. So 4t is equal to 2, which implies t is equal to half second. So what will be the distance traveled by the object in half second when it starts with a velocity of 3 meter per second? So applying S is equal to ut plus half at square.
Can't we use
You
v
can
square
use v
minus
square
u?
minus. Yeah, you can do that. That's what I got. So you can use
With-
v square minus u square equal to s.
For that, we don't
Anyways,
need to find t, right?
You know, you don't need it. Had the question asked about what instant this will happen, then you might need t. Okay. So anyways, we'll do this one, then I'll teach you that one also. S is equal to ut plus half at square. S is equal to u is 3 into 1 by 2 plus half into acceleration is 4 into t square, that is 1 by 4. So this and this will get cancelled. 3 by 2 plus half. All right. So that will be 2. So how much distance it would have traveled in half a second? It would have traveled a distance of 2 meter. So what is the distance from origin?
7 meter.
That's it. See, instead of doing these two steps, what you could have done is you could have applied v square minus u square is equal to 2as also. You get the same answer. V square is 25 minus u square is 9 is equal to 2 into 4 into s. So 25 minus 9, 16 is equal to 8 into s. S would be 2 meter. There's an alternate. This is simpler actually. Right? Now you're getting idea of how to apply these equations.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So 13th is done. 15th one, what is the doubt? So there is a bullet which is traveling with a velocity of 16 meter per second. So u is 16 meter per second. It penetrates a tree trunk and comes to rest in 0.4 meter. So distance is given 0.4 meter. Find the time taken during the retardation. So applying v is equal to u plus at, you should get the answer. But you don't know the retardation, right? So here there are two unknowns. You understand what would have been the issue. So anyone who could solve this?
Yes,
So
sir, I
there is-
solved.
E square minus u square equal to 2s. We can use
Okay,
that.
but what is the acceleration of the object? They have not given the retardation.
We have to find.
So we can find that using v
Can
square minus
find
u
the-
square equal to
Yeah, equal
2as.
to 2as, sir.
So initially, what is the velocity? 16, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So here it will come to rest.
0.
So how much distance has it traveled before coming to rest? It is 0.4 meter.
0.4 meter.
So whenever you have this kind of a problem, always apply v square minus u square is equal to 2as. So v square is 0 minus u square is 16 square. So 16 into 16 is equal to 2 into acceleration is what you need to find into displacement is 0.4. So it will cancel 8 times. So acceleration is equal to minus 16 into 8 divided by 0.4. This will go 20 times. So it is minus 320 meter per second square. This is what you guys got?
Yes, sir.
The 320 meter per second square. They're asking what is the time taken. No? Again, for time, what you can do is apply v is equal to
U plus
plus
AT.
U plus 8.
Or you can apply S is equal to UT plus half AT square also. Both will give you the same answer. But I suggest you go with U plus AT because you will get one unknown and one equation. You use S is equal to UT plus half AT square, you will get a quadratic equation. You will get stuck. So V is equal to U plus AT means 0 is equal to U is 16 plus
16
acceleration is minus
minus
320 into T.
320.
So 16 divided by 320. So it will be 1 divided by 50. So it is 0.1 divided by 5. It is 0.0
0.05.
or 20, right? Sorry. 1 divided by 20. So this will be 2. It will be 0.05 second. So is that the answer?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes.
Sir, can we use A in terms of T?
Yeah, you can use that. But you will see generally the number of unknowns you have will be the number of equations you need mathematically. Here, what are the two unknowns? They're asking you to calculate the time, right? So
Yes, sir.
when you apply V is equal to U plus AT, that one equation itself has two unknowns, so you cannot solve with it. So that is why. So what is your doubt? You want to write acceleration in time in terms of time and leave it. Huh?
Yes, sir. I get it as A equals minus 16 by T. I
Okay.
substituted it in S equals UT plus half AT
Ah,
square. It
that's
easily
right.
got cancelled.
That is also right.
Okay, sir.
It is your idea only. See, any equation you use, you will get the same answer. Actually, that's also a good idea. Let me share it with others also. See, your name?
Siddesh.
Siddesh. See, the idea with Siddesh is sharing this. He used V is equal to U plus 8. He didn't find the acceleration. Okay. So V is 0 is equal to 16 plus A into T. So he got T as minus 16 divided by A. Am I right?
Sir,
Then,
I took A equals minus 16 by T.
we want time, no? Yeah, A is equal to minus 16 by T. That's right. So A is equal to minus 16 divided by T. This one. Then he tried to apply it in S is equal to UT plus half AT square. So S is equal to U is how much? So S is given 0.4, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
0.4 is equal to U is 16 into T plus half into A. Instead of A, he wrote it as 16 by T the whole square. So that will be 16 into 16 divided by T square into you already have a T square. This is the equation you got.
It's just 16 by T square.
Minus 16
Oh,
by
yeah, acceleration. Okay. So you will have 1 minute. So half into acceleration is minus 16 by T into T square. So this and this will get cancelled. This is 8. So 16T minus 8T is 8T is equal to 0.4. So T is equal to 1 divided by 20, 0. Yeah, this is also right. Okay, good. So there is an alternate way. But see, by now you would have understood whatever equation you use, you would get the same answer because everything is derived only from the first equation. V is equal to U plus AT only, you derive S is equal to UT plus half AT square. You derive V square minus U square equal to AS. So all the equations are the same. Depending on the unknowns, we use different equations. That's it. Okay. So this is one way. Next. Let's try to do the 11th one. So what are they trying to say? If X, Y, Z be the distances described by the particle during the pth, Q and rth second respectively, prove that Q minus R into X plus R minus P into Y plus P minus Q into Z is equal to 0. Anyone who got the answer for this?
Yes, sir.
So what is the distance traveled by the object in the nth second?
U plus A by 2 into 2n minus 1.
So U plus, in this case, I should write it as A by 2 into 2P minus 1, where here A stands for what? Acceleration of the particle, and U stands for the initial velocity. None of them are given in the question. So you have to eliminate it. So what is the distance traveled by the object in p seconds? In the pth second, it is x. So can I write this as x? Similarly, what will be the value of y? u plus a by 2 into
2q minus 1.
2q minus 1. Similarly, z will be u
U
plus a
plus
by
a by
2
2 into 2r minus 1.
to r minus 1. So how many unknowns do you have? So what is that you have introduced in the question, in the answer?
XYZ.
XYZ is given in the question, no?
U and a.
U and a is what you have introduced. So to solve that, you need two equations. What you can do is you treat them as two linear equations and then try to solve them. So once you solve, you'll get the answer. So for example, if I do, so what are they asking? I need q minus r, or let's say p minus q is there into z. So here I have p, here I have q. If I need p minus q, then I need to do x minus y. So if suppose I do x minus y, then what do I do? Or can you guys tell me what is the value of u and a? Treat them as two linear equations and then solve it. So if I do y minus x, what do I get? I get a by 2 into 2 into q minus p. Am I right? So a will be equal to y minus x divided by q minus p. Got it? So if I take this and substitute it back in any one of the equations, any one of the equations of x and y, I should not substitute it in z. If I substitute it in the place of x and y, I will get the value of u also. So it is going to be u plus a divided by 2. Instead of a, what should I write? Y minus x divided by q minus p into 1 by 2 into 2p minus 1. Can I write it like this?
Yes, sir.
So are you able to understand what it is? So from here, if you find out what is the value of u, you can take the value of u and a and substitute it in the third equation, you will directly get the answer. Okay? This is one way. So what I did is I treated it mathematically as linear equation in two variables and then solved it. This is one of the methods. The alternate method is, observe what I'm going to do. X is equal to u plus a by 2 into 2p minus 1. Y is equal to u plus a by 2 into 2q minus 1. Z is equal to u plus a by 2 into 2r minus. So what will I get for x minus y? So x minus y will be equal to a by 2 into 2 into p minus q. So this and this will get cancelled. I wrote it as x minus y because I saw p minus q somewhere. I saw p minus q. Okay. So p minus q. So what I can say is p minus q will be equal to x minus y divided by a. I hope there is no doubt in this. Similarly, I take a cyclic process. So between q and r, what is the relation? You have q minus r. So what should I take? Tell me, you people use the logic and tell me. If I want q minus r, should I consider y minus z or z minus y?
Y minus Z.
So
Y
take
minus Z.
So if I take y minus z, I get a by 2 into q minus r. So which implies q minus r will be equal to y minus z divided by a. Let this be equation number 1. Similarly, what is the other one you have? Between p and r. P and r, it is r minus p. R minus p means?
Z minus X.
So z minus x is what? A by 2 into r minus p. So this and this will get cancelled. So r minus p will be equal to z minus x the whole divided by a. Let this be equation number 3. Now what you can do is multiply this p minus q with z. So what is the question? So what are they asking? Prove that q minus r into x. So q minus r into x plus r minus p into y.
Sir.
R minus p into y plus p minus q into z is equal to 0. So what is q minus r? That is y minus z divided by a into x plus r minus p is z minus x divided by a into y plus p minus q
X minus Y.
x minus y divided by a into z. Okay, this is what we need to prove. So I've taken only the LHS. So once I take the LHS, what do I get in the numerator? xy minus xz plus yz minus xy plus xz minus yz, the whole divided by a, because a is the LCM. So xy will get cancelled with minus xy, xz with minus xz, yz with this answer. Okay.
Understood, sir.
So actually this problem is not based on physics, it's mathematics based. Okay. So let's say we have time is 5:55, right? So in 15 minutes, we'll take 15 more minutes. I will explain you the concept of integration. Okay, so differentiation is over. I'll explain you what is integration, and then I will teach you a method to derive the equation of motion using the method of calculus. Okay, that we will discuss tomorrow. So let me. Math class, you will have it, man. I'll slightly push it by some time. Okay. Now, just write down the heading as integration. I'm not going to teach you in depth and all. I cannot do it also. Okay. So, can someone tell me integration? I hope, with the hope that you would have learned in your school, I'm asking you, what is integration all about? So, when I ask you about differentiation, what would you say? I gave you the definition already. Don't say you don't know. When you differentiate something, what is it you're getting?
Slope, sir.
Slope of what?
Tangent. Tangent.
You get the slope of the tangent to the curve at a particular point. In a similar way, when you integrate, what do you think you're going to get? Okay. Integration, if you ask me in basic terms, it is nothing but adding up things. Integration is basically addition, right? So integrating something, that's it. You add up something, right? So when you talk about integration, there are two types of integrations that we are going to do. One is called as indefinite integration. The second is called as definite integration. Remember, I'm only teaching you the terms. I'm not teaching you in depth. You just need to know what is the formula that you need to apply. That's more than sufficient. Okay. When you differentiate an indefinite function, the output is a function. So whenever you use indefinite integration for a function, the output is another function. When you use a definite integration, the output is area. So if somebody asks you, what is the output of integration, or what is the main application of integration, you should say, integration is mainly used to find the area of a curve. Okay, area bound by a curve with respect to something. That is what is the application of integration. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is, so you can write down, integration is a tool, write it down. Integration is a tool which is used, integration is a tool which is used to find the area find the area bound by a curve, with respect to the independent axis. Okay. With respect to independent axis. Okay. So integration is also called as anti-derivative. It's also called as anti-derivative. So why we call it as anti-derivative is because whatever is the answer you are getting on differentiation, if you integrate the answer, you will get back the question. I'm repeating it again. If you differentiate a particular function, you get an answer. For example, if I give you a function like y is equal to x square, if I ask you what is dy by dx?
2x.
2x, right? So when you differentiate something, you're getting an answer, right? If you integrate this, you should get back x square. That is the meaning. Okay. So, but before that, that's why it is called as antiderivative. So here you don't have any derivations for formula, but dy by dx is equal to 2x as a derivation. You learn it in a chapter called as limits and derivatives. That is some 12th or 13th chapter in your textbook, maths textbook. Okay. So integration is antiderivative. So observe what I'm going to do is, the symbol used for integration is an elongated S. So S is there, right? You pull it in the opposite ends, you will get an elongated S. You write it as integral of f of x with respect to x. So you read it as integral of f of x with respect to x. Is it clear? So is there any doubt till this step? Is there anything you didn't understand?
No, sir.
Okay.
Clear, right? Okay. So across this integrals, what?
D, sir.
Sorry,
What is the
I
D?
didn't get.
D.
D is derivative. D is this called as a differential coefficient. Don't worry about it. It's called as differential coefficient. Just like how you have dx here. So if I write dy by dx, then it is differentiation with respect to x. That is how I told you, right? So whenever you are writing dy, the denominator will tell you with respect to what you are going to differentiate. I told you the difference in the previous class also. In a similar way, for integral, what will happen is the function will get multiplied with dx. So that's what we call it as integral of f of x with respect to x. Means whatever is the work dx is doing here, the same work dx is doing here also. It will tell you with respect to which variable you are supposed to integrate. Okay, let's not get much deep into it. As I told you, I cannot discuss with you unless you have a clear grip of relations and functions, especially functions. Okay. So as I told you, don't worry much about it. You need to know only the formula and how to apply it. Okay. So integral of f of x dx, this is called as indefinite integration. Okay. Whereas if I write integral of f of x dx from a to b, this is called as definite integration. So what is the difference that is coming in both? So what difference are you able to see in this and this?
In indefinite integration, there is no limit, sir.
There are no limits. That's right. So these terms a and b are called as limits. Limits of whom? Limits of x. Okay. This is called as lower limit and this is called as upper limit. So when you integrate a function, when you integrate using this kind of integration, what will be the output? The output will be a function. Whereas when you're integrating something like this with the limits, then what will be the output?
Area.
Will be the area. Area means you will get a number. Okay, we get a particular value outside. Okay, so these are all the points you are supposed to know about integration. What are all the formulae and how to apply it? I will explain it tomorrow. Okay, is there any doubt till this step?
No, sir.
No? Others?
Understood, sir.
Okay. So let's see. Okay. So revise till this topic. Okay. Tomorrow I will continue from here. You will understand it better. That's why. See, the reason I introduced is because you will have some time to absorb. So go through this concept, and tomorrow you will have a better clarity of what I'm trying to explain. Okay. So we'll wind up the session. We'll meet tomorrow.